Matter cannot control spirit. Now, this still take us to this family prayer, family deliverance, right? I think we're coming close. Family deliverance, where somebody who is physically going to a shrine and is using machete to scatter shrine, and you want to do family deliverance, they ask you to bring a bag of salt. Then they bring a bag of salt. Then you dig the hole and put it. Those things are a deceived person. Because they are matter. Those salt has nothing to do with that, with anything.
Hello viewers, you're welcome to Choose Market. We've come with another edition of the Choose Market series, and it has been a whole lot of life transforming series, mind-blowing teachings, and we've been learning so much. And this platform is really a gift to humanity. And I really want you to stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Make sure you watch this video to the end, because you must surely have something to learn. I am Divine Susie, and I have special people in our midst today, and also our resource person, the voice of the Lord himself. So the person of the servant, the financial. You're highly welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Right. I also have here with me Bro Chedozie in the show. Sir, you're highly welcome.
Yes, so one of a time in Truth Market, and as I always say, Truth Market is not ordinary market, it's a repository. So those people that are trying to look for a way to straighten their life and to actualize the best in your head should come straight to the Truth Market. And actually what we have today, it looks like some people have these challenges on trying to get answers.
Yes.
There are these rights that are going on, people are repeatedly doing it, some are not getting results. But I know that today's episode, the result must come, because we have what it takes in the market to solve any problem.
That's so amazing. Thank you. So from the way Chedozie is speaking today, is trying to let you know that there is something vital for you. And so please, make sure you grab that thing that is for you today. And also want to welcome Bro Jude to the show. You're welcome, sir.
Welcome viewers, as usual. The Truth Market is a global platform for human freedom is the market. So whatever you need for your total freedom is available. Don't try fool with it.
Thank you, sir. Wow. All right. We always do the unusual, and our topics are always striking and mind-blowing. And today we're going to be relating something to you that has to do with matter and spirit. And I know a lot of people will be like, what are you trying to talk about? So that's why you should pay attention. So, sir, I'll be coming like this. It's most of your discussions, we usually hear you talking about matter and spirit. At times you say you cannot use matter to answer spirit. To control, yeah. You see, you cannot use matter to control the spirit. So now I want to come this way. What is matter? What is spirit? And how do you relate matter to matter and spirit to spirit? Thank you, sir.
Wow. Glory be to God. Yes, we are rewriting the history and the letters of the world. We are programmers and spiritual programmers. Just as we said that our mission and vision is to ensure that humanity, that we bring science into spirituality. Okay. And the whole human race will see God as one. Not in name, but by its nature and attribute and functions and operation. So discussing science, it takes a whole lot of things. Many people misunderstand the fact that religion has dominated the earth, and people just talk without bringing spirit, science into spirituality. And that is the reason why you cannot be rest assured of what you are saying, or the prayer, the formula for praying. You don't know how to pray and get results. So everything is just based on trial and error. So that's why this is very, very important that we discuss about the matter and the spirit. You understand? So that we will know, as I'm to say, that the life in which we are in is controlled by binary number. That is the 0 and 1. And it has a polarity. The universe is in a polarity. The positive, the negative, the up and down, the male and female, the big and the small, the head and the tail. So this is how the universe is being created, which you must strike a balance and know the one that is superior to one another, so that there will be harmonious existence and operation in those things. Just as Christ said, be as wise as a serpent, as innocent as a dove. He's also talking about the binary nature of life. That in whatever you do in the physical world, don't allow the people of the world to use your innocence against you. So when you are innocent, don't just say, okay, I'm innocent, and don't lay claim to your benefits. So when you are innocent, use that your innocence to claim your earthly belongings, as being wise as a serpent and as innocent as a dove. So now, in a situation where the life is binary and symmetry in nature, then you now come and pick one, then, and leave the other. You are not going to make any headway. You understand? You are not going to make any headway because you'll be so frustrated in all your efforts. So, but when you strike that balance, then you find out that effortlessly you'll be able to do anything and control anything.
Yes.
Now, invention, miracle, signs and wonders, science, everything you could talk about that strike the imagination of men or help in advancement of nature is gotten by interactions of two things. You understand? Then when there is no interaction or ability to bring something that's a common into harmony, you cannot invent. You can't create. So this is the reason why religion is opposite of science, still in a binary form. So no one who is following religion can be a fulfilled man. Nobody who is following religion can be creative. But when you follow science, then you will be creative. Then the question now is are you a physical scientist or a spiritual scientist in conjunction to soul scientists? Then you now find out that the physical scientists are different from the spiritual soul science or spiritual science. And that is why, to a large extent, they are limited in inventions and creativity. And that is the reason why, this is the reason and why the heaven have not been made, we have not worked out heaven from the earth. You understand? Because the people that are physical scientists are just dealing with matter. Matter is anything that is physical. Yes. Material things. Matter is what? The spirit is you. Matter is anything that is visible, that can be felt and perceived by the body. It's called matter. Then the understanding of matter makes you a physical scientist, where you can harmonize two things. But you are limited with the knowns, which is the matter, unless you tap your knowns from the unknowns, which is spiritual. Now, anything created in the physical world, no matter what it is a trapped spirit. A trapped spirit. Then that trapped spirit is gotten from the fact the cooling system gives you a trapped spirit. And the cooling system takes place over time and space. So a spirit can be trapped through cooling system or calmness over time and space. Then if you want to lose a spirit, a matter, and for it to become spirits or invisible, then you have to burn it, heat, through temperature, high rate of temperature. Then there are going to be evaporation. Then that thing which is visible will become invisible. Like this cloth I'm wearing now, it is a matter. It is visible, it can be felt. But if you want to make it invisible, right, through chemical reaction of firing it or burning it, you find out that so many particles, up to, 90% of the particles are going to disappear and will not be seen again, and so on and so on and so forth. So this understanding of a spirit and matter, I think we are getting it clearer. Yes. So those trapped spirits, all right, now is the matter. Now the question we're asking now is, how is it possible that the things that are spiritual will be called into being into the physical world? Do you understand? And between matter and the spirit, which one is senior and which one is older? Now you find out that matter is, spirit is what controls matter. Matter does not control spirit, because spirit is the superior to matter. And matter is made by a combination of different things, but a spirit is made with one thing, which I could call spiritual elements. You understand? Which I can call spiritual elements. Now, the boundary between the physical world and the spiritual world, what is the link between the spirit and the physical world? How do we create? You understand? How do we create? Now, the creation by this science we're saying, spirits by attraction, cooling system, you attract things that are invisible for them to become invisible. Now, it still goes that is visible, invisible to become visible. And through heating period, that thing which is visible will become invisible. All right? Okay, now, if another question is, what is the tool a man can use to create as God also creates? And what is the link? Now, what's to control matter by the office of man is the thoughts. It is the thoughts. And when you are hearing truth to a large extent, is a trapped emotion. Trapped emotion. Now, I feel like telling you to come. Okay, I feel like, how do I do to tell somebody to bring a chair or to give me something, or I want somebody to be present here? Now, I decided to use the word come. Now, it's become trapped. I would say, is it hearable or visible? Visible is the things you see. Then hearable is the one you hear, like an audible word. Now, this act of somebody staying far, being close to you, has been bottled and cloned and trapped into the word come. So it's an emotion is now of come, of moving from one place to the other. It's called now come and trapped and kept. So and coded and kept. So if a child now wants to grow up and have that feeling or the emotion of telling somebody that is afar from to be closer, what is he going to say? He's going to say, come. He wouldn't say go, because this was not coded. The act of coming from one place to the other is not coded into go. Or coded as go. Coded into go. Into the word go. You understand? Yes, it is not coded. So you find out that even computer uses this binary number. And human emotion is stored in that spoken word. Now, truth itself, right, is still a code where human divine will is trapped. And when you are talking about divine will and truth being trapped on, divine will being trapped on truth, and satanic will being trapped on where? On the lies. Right? Then, when you want to turn a spoken word into a spirit, you understand? Then, how would you turn a spoken word into a spirit? By breaking them down so that the nature and the principles of that spoken word will be known. And the attributes of that spoken word will be known. And you have captured the spirit. You have done what? The code is now transferred into spirit. So now that is the reason why religion and people all over the universe have been struggling on how to access God. The reason is because the spoken word of God is trapped as truth. But nobody knows the principles and the nature and attributes of truth. And that is the reason why the laws of truth now come, which is the spirit of truth, which Jesus gave a promise. That when the spirit of truth comes, right, now this spoken word, we will be able to control them by putting a divine emotion onto spoken words so that it will become creative in nature. And for it to become creative in nature, it should come with what? Explanation. That explanation explain the word of God, simplify the word of God. That word simplify, like an adjective, is a spirit to a spoken word. Simplify word of God. So if you have truth and the truth is not simplified, you can never pick the quality, and it loses the spirit and the quality, and you loses its efficacy to solve a problem. I'm breaking it down so that you know why matter is being, how matter can be controlled. So when you understand a word, it will have power to control something. Now look at you now. You don't understand Hausa, but you hear Hausa. Then if I say zo, which is come, you'll be looking at me. I've spoken a word, but because you don't understand it, I'm now assuming you to be a matter. I can't control you. I can't control you. Yeah. I'm assuming you to be a matter. All right? Yes. So, if I want to pick this thing, this, what is it? Microphone. If I want to tell you to pick this microphone, and I don't know that this is microphone, and I don't know that this is black microphone, and I don't know the quality and the characteristics of that, I might not send you to go and pick it. You see, I lose or have lost the power of controlling you because the code is not known. You understand? The code is not known. And that understanding is the nature and the spirit behind whatever you do, or say, and they have controlling power over it. Now, just like your computer now, if you type something that is not, computer is not familiar with, it rejects it. It will not accept it. So if we now want to use the Spirit of God to control matter, the question is not doing it mechanically or just speaking or praying. The first thing we have to do is to understand the component and the nature of God, whom we want to use this spoken word to control. So when you now understand the nature and the principles of God, you are now a programmer. So all those things which God created in the physical world, right? You can be able to do what? To control it, because you understand the nature and the attributes and the understanding, the essence, and how God arrived at where the creation. Now, we continue. A physical scientist understands the language and the nature of crude oil, and that is the reason why he was able to process it, to get code, fuel, gasoline, whatever, kerosene, and so many other things. But the people of the old who first found crude oil, because they don't know the code and the nature of it, because they were not scientific, maybe they were religious, right? And ignorant. They couldn't be able to control. But today, to control the crude oil. But today, a physical scientist can control the crude oil. Come out from the ground. And I want you to become fuel. And I want you to become gas. And I want you to become this. You find out that that thing begins to respond. Now they go to the deep down of the earth and go to the oil ore. I mean, yes, the ore. Not oil now. The iron ore.
Iron ore.
Go to the iron ore and speak. Come out. He came out. They said, okay, I want you to form a rod. He said, how can I form a rod? Yeah, you are going to form a rod because I understand your principle. I understand your nature. You understand? Then everything now begin to call that which is not into being, changing from one form to the other, which we say nobody creates anything, including truths. But you can discover how to assemble them and they will obey you. Did you understand that? All right. So now, if we want to now call things that are not into being, the first thing we have to do is to understand the nature and the principles and the attributes of Holy Spirit and angels, who are the co-workers in the spiritual world. Then, when you understand their principle, right, then you will be able, through your thought pattern, communicate with them. They will come with revelation, and now, in the physical things, cooling system gives you spirit. So in the spiritual world, calmness and confidence in the spirit, trust in the spirit, give you the power to and make your thoughts to be viable and creative. That when you are very calm and quiet, right, then you'll be able to, one, walk with the spiritual hosts of heavens. And two, you'll be able to control matter. Because that matter which you see, it is through cooling system. Over time, I don't know how to explain it now, I'm coming to explain it. Now, in the spiritual world, there are something I will now call human emotion is the building block. Just as atom in the physical world is the building block of anything that is physical. Yes, atom is the building block of matter or anything that is physical. Now, your human thought generates human emotion. And when that emotion is positive, it has something like a powder. That is the reason why you are hearing power, power, power. Power is gotten from the word powder. I mean, powder is gotten from the word power.
Wow.
Because it is your emotion that is in the spiritual world that has that nature of powder or smoke. You understand? When it is quiet, when you are quiet and concentrated, then the positive vibrations and energy begin to condense in you. That is the 13th laws of truth that say that truth does not travel. Truth does not travel means that if you are in calmness and quietness, right, there will be an assemblage of energy. Then, if those energies are not used by human, when they condense for a very long time, naturally, it is now going to turn into a matter. It will turn into a matter. Over time, a very long period of time, a thought can turn into a matter.
Wow.
That is their confusions of Big Bang, the theory of evolution. You understand? But they needed us to guide them on that theory of evolution. That when a thought is concentrated over time, it can now condense and take a form. Your thought first take a form of a spirit. Like if you are thinking like as a prophet, if one is a prophet, when you are thinking about a car, if I look at you, what I'm going to see is a car, not your thought. In the spiritual world. Because your thought is invisible. But I see it by that thing which it concentrates upon. You understand? If you're going to drink water, now you're thinking of going to drink water, what I'm going to see is what? Is water. So the thoughts, when it is concentrated over time, takes a form. When it takes a form in the spiritual world, by the condensation of that emotion, over time, it will manifest and take a form in the physical world. So that is what God was saying in the book of Isaiah chapter 55, verse 8. My thoughts and your thoughts, they are not the same thing. Then you change your thoughts and liken your own thoughts to my own thoughts. That is the thought of calmness, quietness, and confidence. When you change it, it's same. The word which I spoke is like a rain that comes down and never come back without fulfilling the purpose in which it is sent for. So that tells you that God himself also creates by thoughts. And that's why we had that component of creation, which we say that the components of creation, they are basically, the first primary component of creation is four, which is your thoughts, your time, action, and your spoken words. And we say that when thoughts passes over time, it becomes an idea.
Yeah.
And when an idea passes, when action passes over time, it becomes what? A habit. And when spoken words, passes over time, it becomes a language, right? Which is that code of human emotion. Now you can now see, before you begin to speak, you began from the thought world. From thought world over time, it came into action. Then when it came, thought world, it came into idea. Then from idea now, it transverse and go and take action. That action you are taking now will come down again and form a habit. You understand? You see the movement now? And form what? A habit over time. So you find out that the controlling panel and the funnel through which things are crystallized is over time. So thought needs time, action needs time, and spoken word needs time. That is still in Igbo land why they call it stone. They call it what? Okute. Okute aka. So, yes, or crystallize. Okutaka, it becomes a culture, it becomes a norm. So now, oku means a cover, spoken word, something, cover, a spoken word, oku chiku. Then God himself over time has thought over time and cover it and sealed it like a folder. That from today, this is what we know. You understand? Then it became, yes, okuchi, okuchi. Then you have now covered it. Is established. Is a seal. Now, the spirit that is cocked, let me speak it this way. The spirit that is cocked into that spoken word can only be understood when you open it. You understand? When you open it. So now, what men have been dealing with, why religion is the evil and causing confusion, is because the creative power of God and spoken word is not in them. So they have the word and they have the truth, but they don't have the spirit. And they cannot open the seal. That's why the book of Revelation chapter 5 was saying, who has the right to open the seal? This thing God has spoken and kept, who can unlock it? So it's by you locking it that you will have that creative power to control matter and everything that is on earth. And when you now open the seal, that is when you will be qualified. Verse 10, Revelation chapter 5 verse 10, to reign as queen, as kings on this earth. So the control of matter by the Spirit does not come by praying and fasting. It does not come by cramming Bible and quoting it, which Jesus was saying, you study the Bible thinking that there is life in it. There is no life in it. Life is based in that practical experiences of life. And there is no way you can have a good experience or practice in life unless you understand the principles of what you are practicing. Because the principle is the Spirit. Yes. Right? Yes, which we say that experience is God. Now, if we now understand the components of creation, thought, time, action, and word, spoken word, that's the primary components of a creation before you come to idea, habit, and language. Okay. Then if we understand this thing now, we can use our thoughts to control the physical things. Understand? Controlling it is not in a magical way like this thing now, stand up. You control it in the sense that by your understanding, you can bring one or two things. Right? You can bring one or two things and put them into harmony. Controlling matter does not mean that you just take here now a football will fall. No. That is magic. Though it can be done. But that should be on a higher realm, which we might not, this class might not be able to cover it. But it is possible. Yeah. But how it does, that's how spirit itself creates. Like when we are in the spiritual world, walking, demolishing things. If I see a demon, a deity, there is nothing I do than just to think of that demon catching fire. Begin to manifest. Immediately I think of that demon catching fire because my thought is purified, and pure. There is no stain in it. It is very clear. Immediately I think that, then that thing will catch fire. Are you there? Yes. Then if that thing that is catching fire in the spiritual world is the vibration, is very high, it can manifest in the physical. That thing which is cloned onto that which is spiritual will do what? Will manifest. You see that thing catching fire in the physical world.
Wow.
You understand? So this is how to control matter. I'm still going to tell you where so many people are controlling matter unknown to them. But because the world stroke religion is prone to evil, is prone to evil, then they control matter in a negative way. Now, if you are quiet, if you are tensed up, and your heart begin to pump faster than it's supposed to be, and that you're tensed up, your metabolism is going to change, your heartbeat is going to change, and before you know, you start sweating, even though you are in a cold environment. That's right. You have already generated a matter. You have already controlled matter. Your body system now, you have put heat. You have put heat on it.
Reacts.
That reaction. You see? So people are prone to evil, and what causes it is that religion. That if people should learn who God is and learn how to trust God, Satan, one, will evacuate this earth.
That's it.
Two, man will be able to create good and not evil. A witch can turn to a snake. In your korokoro eye is not a magic. Effortlessly. Turn to python. Turn to lion. You see? Why? Because they are using the negative power. They are using the power of God negatively. But people into religion don't want to pronounce that, to collect this power from the demonic people, which they too are demon anyway. So there is no way they could be allowed to reveal the secrets. Now, if you remember the book of in Acts of Apostles, when Philip met eunuch,
Yes.
I think in either chapter 7 or 8, met the eunuch. After discussing with him, he vanished. The next thing is that you saw him somewhere there. You know, nobody was able to explain this. We let it be. So controlling matter can only be possible through the teaching of the New Jerusalem. So I have told you in a negative way where you can control matter. You can cause yourself now to be paralyzed.
Your thought pattern.
Through your thought pattern. But you can't cause yourself to be peaceful and calm. You can cause yourself now to fall sick through high blood pressure by just getting a negative news and meditating over it over time. When it crystallized, it has you paralyzed. So humanity have not been taught on how to use the will of God rightly and the power of God rightly and nature rightly.
Yes.
And the chief cause of this is religion. Because they are all agents of Satan. The one which they want to do, they will not teach it and make it a public something. They will hide it and it becomes perpetually a secret. Perpetually a secret.
So before you advance,
Yeah.
You see me being calm watching you,
Yeah.
following you, bumper to bumper.
Yes.
Because I began to find out that you are talking about science. It's not just a name, talking.
Yeah.
It's a reality. In project management, something that taught us about communication.
Okay, communication.
Mode of communication. It's
Okay.
what we call encoding and decoding.
Coding
Encoding.
and encoding.
Encoding.
Okay, you know I didn't go to school.
Mode of communication.
All right.
So you were just accurate.
Okay.
And that encoding is a thought and idea brought into a language that is common.
Okay.
Somebody can understand. That is encoding. You pass it. That is method of communication. When you pass it, now it becomes a message.
Okay.
As you are pushing it.
Okay.
That's it. Now somebody who will now understand that coded something.
Yeah.
Now immediately understand it. That is decoding now.
Mm-hmm.
You bring it back into thought and idea before you acts on it.
Okay.
So when you were saying this, why I was laughing was because I never knew you as
The project manager.
computer scientist
Okay,
or whatever. But
okay.
you're just speaking the correct analysis and whatever is about communication.
Okay, all right. Thank you. That makes it truth, because truth is universal, common, and eternal. You understand? So now, these guys, religious leaders, have silenced the word of God. Now look at the English language. English language was invented, right? Yes. And when it started, it was not popular and it was not common. It was through propaganda, teaching, and all that. Then people now understand English and begin to use it as a code number. You understand? Now, as we are teaching the language of God, which is that truth explained, a time will come, someone can call angel, angel comes. Just by understanding the language of God, which we say the primary language of God is your thought and action. Now, a witch doctor knows what the gong to beat and the string to play to summon a demon. Because why that jitter is played, as you're playing it, the 7 strings or the 6 strings of this thing is in tune to the vibration of a spirit. So any spirit operating in the consciousness of that vibration, you attract it.
Okay.
Understand? Yeah. That's why they say there is no peace for the wicked. Because immediately your heart is negative, you send a vibration and a signal to a demon that will come to torment you and frustrate everything you're doing. All right? Okay, so this is how spirit control matter. And the channel to it is your spoken word. So if we now start as we have started, then the teaching of the New Jerusalem gets to the end of the earth. And every child has the laws of truth, the book of excellence. And you find out that men with time now, just as they learned English, will learn the language of God and know how to deal and destroy Satan and demons. All right? And how to control wealth. All right? Which is still a matter. And become as wealthy as they can. So what people are missing is principles. Not prayer, not fasting. What they are missing is principle and the attributes of God. Immediately you understand the attributes of God, as we have done. You have everything under your palm. And you'll be able to control it. Now, if somebody wants to bring a ball that is not existing here, there, and you understand the language of spirits, you can ask an angel to go and bring a football you kept somewhere. All right? Then it will bring it here. But that angel will not manufacture football.
Yes.
But this football is existing somewhere else. But when it is transporting it, it can clone it that it will become invisible to an ordinary person who is not spiritual. Till it comes to that destination, you will drop it. You see it. You who is the master knows through your thought pattern that this is what is going on. That is how matter, thoughts, controls matter. And that is the reason why the unlearned in the spiritual world cannot do anything. Like a child. The prayer of the child is not effective because his thought has not been polished. No matter how innocent that child is, because he has not gathered experience, he cannot lay hands and begin to pray to people or command things to happen. Why? Because he doesn't know the language through his thoughts and personal experiences. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, so now, when we come to discuss the science of the spirit now, you now understand that through calmness, I've told you how to generate a negative one, which people are prone to. You understand? Right. You know, stroke is caused by paralysis. Stroke is caused by thought pattern. You think negatively over time, you can be paralyzed. Because your metabolism and your blood and the fluid passing through you become heated up. That's why you sweat when you are troubled. You generate sweat. So that sweat is a trapped emotion that is expressed through what? Through sweat, based on the state of your mind. Then let's leave negativity and discuss positivity now, because that's what we came to correct. You are doing all these ones by default because of your wickedness, your selfishness, your greed, because you are dealing with matter. And why people are prone to negativity is because they deal with matter. Matter has no power to create. Matter is a finished product. Are you getting what I'm saying? Matter is a finished product. So when you want to use what is not creative to create, over time you get frustrated. Then at that point of frustration, anger will trigger up. And when anger triggers off, then you begin to produce another thing contrary to the nature of God. So that is the reason now, okay, look at this thing now. Like this clothes I'm putting on now is an effect. Understand? Yes. It is an effect. Now, I can't use this thing now to create because it is not designed for that purpose. Then if I want to create these clothes, I said, I have given this illustration before. I should go to where it is made and design the color and whatever I want it to be. So I will be frustrated trying to turn these purple clothes to white because it is not creative. I'm handling it as a finished product.
It's true.
So that is the reason why people who are materialistic are never spiritual. And when they are not spiritual, they get frustrated in the things of the physical world because they don't have the format to control the matter, for the matter to be obedient to them, because every matter is a finished product.
Yes. Wow.
You understand? Now, this is what leads to frustration. So if we bring Bible now and bring the so-called religious holy books and begin to read it time and time again, without understanding, you just be a charlatan and a blogger.
Now I wanted to ask you this question before you came on board.
Okay.
Because we are talking about encoding and decoding. Pass the message.
Okay. Don't use a language I don't understand. You know, two of us did not read the...
Hold on. You said it.
Okay.
You already explained what I'm saying.
Okay.
That when a message is dropped, it is understanding that will make you to react on that message.
Okay.
You said, okay, come.
Yes.
If I didn't understand what come,
you will not react to it.
I will not react. I won't come.
Okay.
Now, just like the scripture, I was about thinking about it when you brought it.
Okay.
The scripture, people are reading the scripture. We believe that scripture is a message dropped.
Yeah.
Encoded.
Yeah.
Now, at what level or what manner would you be for you to decode, to understand? Because what you are teaching in the scripture is different from what the religious people are teaching.
Okay.
I want you to tell us, how did you arrive at and decoding what the message of God dropped in the scripture?
Yeah, that is what we are breaking down now. It's understanding the nature of God. I left Bible alone.
Okay.
I told you people that there are 3 basic testaments. You understand? One is Nature Testament. The second is the Old Testament and the New Testament. Now, Nature Testament is understanding the language of nature through calmness and quietude. Isaiah chapter 30 verse 15 said it. In your calmness, you have strength. In returning, you have strength. And in your calmness, that's where lies your strength. So it's telling you that in your cooling system and patience, then the essence of God would come in fullness. That's why It was not explained in the story of Elijah. You know, he did all he could with violence, with effort, with nothing. Nothing happens. But he understood God and heard God through a still voice. And if he was not still, how would he notice a still voice?
That's it.
You understand? It was because he was calm now. Okay, I've tried everything. It is no longer working. It is now time for me to relax. Now he relaxed. Then God spoke to him. Because the frequency of God cannot come when you are anxious, when you are worried, when you want to do it according to your own will, according to your own program. Then God will leave you.
So can I come in a bit?
I'm still coming. You understand? God will do what? Leave you, because his frequency is different from the satanic frequency. That satanic frequency is this frequency of impatience, worry, anxiety, trying to make things be without passing through experiences, without garbages, without time and space, violating the code of creation and the component of creation. Then you find out that all what you are doing will be futile, because you have to go and align yourself with nature. So coming to the way we came to understand the Bible, it is through this process. We never did anything by our own strength. We told you people that there is difference between being called and being chosen. When you are called by God to serve God in the capacity of a man of God, you have to stay like 12 years in isolation and hibernation for you to interact with nature before God will now choose you. It is that true point of calmness and quietude that you get and understand the attributes of God. But many people who are called hadn't the patience and didn't understand that. So the secret was not revealed to them. So they cannot create, they can't use God to solve problems. You find out that whatever they are doing is mechanical, with energy, with effort, with everything. And at the end of the day, they will come to nothing. So, one, you should be a holy man to understand Holy Spirits. Then you will be an evil man to understand evil spirits. Or you must be a religious man to understand evil spirits. You see? Yeah. So we are in different countries altogether. A holy man, when you become a holy man, what is the meaning of holy? Holy means the word only. Only, nothing. Just as I explained to you, the spirit is made up of one substance, or a substance, so to say. You understand? And that is why it is effective. So only. So your thought will only be on positive. Yes. Desire and care to save and serve humanity. Then that means you are a holy man. You will not pray back to sender, nor wish anybody bad, nor think evil of any person, nor think anything for your own selfishness, nor be proud, nor arrogant. But in calmness and quietude and in your humility, then you'll be able to pick the nature of God. That's what the book of John chapter 12 verse 24 is saying. Unless a grain of wheat falls into the ground and dies, it abides alone. But when it dies, it brings much fruit. So you must come down to pick the quality of God before God can manifest through you. That's the meaning of humility. Humility means you are humus. So if you don't come down to this being like humus, like sand, you won't pick the real essence of God. But in your lowness and in your humility, then God will deposit his nature there. That means you have aligned yourself with nature. Then through that, you'll be able to express God. So coming to that understanding, ability to control. Now, as we are using the word of God now and it is working, that means we are controlling matter. You are controlling matter. Yes. Severally, you can see me a broken leg. I can command it to straighten. Like Jew's wife. Share? What is that? It's spirit controlling matter. Okay. She came to my house. That was on 1st January of a certain year. And she was limping because she had a fracture that have even took her to orthopedic Enugu. And they did all they could. Nothing happened. Now, when she came to my house, I said, You are having depression, you have worry, you have anxiety and unforgiving spirits. Could you just zero yourself and forgive yourself and allow God to play through your life? Okay, you were there. Glory be to God. Okay, so after, yeah, you were sitting in the parlor, okay? After counseling her, I said, okay. She said, she's sorry. I melted. Now, immediately I understood that her frequency and my own frequency are now the same. Right? And the frequency of God. I run fire into her leg. And it went and melted the bone and straightened it. And she was screaming. Over time, I said, in Jesus' name, it got cooling system. And the bone was straightly formed. See, today as I'm talking to you.
Wow.
It was a life experience, okay? You understand? So this is the easiness of controlling matter. But before you could do that, then you have to be able to learn the principles of God. And one virtue, the greatest virtue on earth, is the virtue of patience. You can never do anything godly in a hurry. Quote me right. That's why in the book of Psalm 46 verse 10, he said, be calm, be still and know that I am God. In the book of 1 Corinthians, he said, 2 Corinthians, he said, my power is made manifest in your weakness. You have to surrender. That surrendering is not timidity. That surrendering is, Father, let your will be done. Then that will now come, which will say, will your will to the will of God, and God will will you to your destiny. But if you have not willed your own will to the will of God, there is no way you can live your destiny here in the physical world.
That's right.
Is that okay? All right. So many people that have been at the point of death, like my brother, Chidubem, who had an operation, have been at a point of death. When we go to the spiritual world to handle the person's case, the person turns to a liquid. Turn to liquid, you see different colors moving. This is when the nature is now rebuilding the flesh, the body. In a liquid form. You see something like a liquid, like a plastic. Yes. Become in a fluid and a plastic form. You continue turning. Then after turning over time, then you put up a command. You see them fitting. No matter the millions of miles the person is, you see it. You see that if you call afterwards, you find out that that person has received that healing. It manifests physically. That's what we use to clean Mama Ejima's cancer, ovarian cancer. She has a brother who is a medical doctor in Gwagwalada Specialist Hospital. And when she got there, she was diagnosed cancer. Then she cried to come and met me in the office. I said, why are you crying? You're a New Jerusalemite now. We don't die untimely. Don't you believe? She said she believed. I said, okay, I run her into the spirit. And when I run her into the spirit, just as a doctor could put somebody an anesthetic drug. But our own is superior to anesthetic because we are in charge of the spirit when you go into spiritual anesthesia. Now I picked her spirit and we went to the spiritual world. I took her to our theater. It took 4 minutes, 47 seconds. We used living water, do the operation, flush out those places that were dark, cancer was located. Those spots, cancerous cells were dark and greenish in the spiritual world. Then when we now sprinkle the living water and use it to flush it, then I got her disconnected. And when I got her disconnected, then after a week or two, he went to hospital, Gwagwalada Hospital, the brother. They couldn't find any cancer. Cancer has disappeared. So this is the practical control of matter, spirit controlling matter. But just as it is written in the book of Matthew chapter 5 verse 8, it says, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. You can't attain this height without purity of heart. And that purity of heart should be sustained for like 10, 15 years. Without pollution, without adulteration, then you find out that everything at your beck and call. Now I give you the story of Light, my son, second to the last son, right? When my wife was pregnant of Light, the first son, my child, the second child, okay? Then, when he was the pregnant of Light, we're living in Karamajiji, then I hadn't a car. So, she used to enter Okada from there to bring food for me in the church and all that when she was pregnant. Now, it happened that there was a crack in the womb. You understand? Now, she was crying all through the night. Whatever, I won't say unfortunately, I don't use the word unfortunately, because everything happens for the good, you know. Okay, so now, I came to Saturday deliverance, counseling and deliverance. So Kenneth, my brother, now rushed to me and said, this is becoming so serious. I said, okay, take my wife to the hospital, which she took to this federal staff hospital. She was there screaming, crying, and there was nothing to attend to her. Then he came back again and said they need to evacuate that child, being Light. But they want to take permission from me. What do I think that permission have to be taken to me? I said, okay, no problem. Now I now left all I was doing on that very Saturday, and I went to Federal Staff Hospital. By then, she has not been administered, nothing has been done to her. I said, okay, there is no evacuation. I've gotten the list they gave to Kenneth, up to 9 lists of drugs and pad and this to buy and all that. I said, no evacuation, you people should give me some time. Then I took Kenneth's wife, then we came to the church. When we came to the church, I entered into the spirits, and we went back to the hospital. When we went back to the hospital now, we saw the crack. By then we have not known it was a crack. But it was when we went to the spiritual world. Now we found out it was a crack. Now I asked an angel, this is servant's case. So what do we do to rescue this child? The angel told me that because of that crack, they cannot do anything and the child is there. That the only thing they can do is to bring the child out and give Kenneth's wife, so that they will be able to cut what they call paranda. I don't know whether it is an English word, but you still didn't know, I remember. They will cut paranda like a flash band they used to put on a zinc. They will cut the paranda. When they cut it, they will place it. When they seal it, they will return the child. I said, whatever you people could do to rescue this child, it's my case. Go on and do it. I say, which angel will volunteer for the work? Then angel of peace volunteered and say, I'm going to do it. I say, okay, go on. Then he carried the child, being Light now. Okay, carried the child, put in Kenneth's this womb. Immediately, the tummy, pa, and she began to scream because the system was not used to that. You understand? But we must have to do it in order to save, rescue life. Now, we do the transfer and use the paranda, cover the distance, and return the child. Immediately we return the child. Right there in the hospital, the cry ceased. We didn't take paracetamol in Federal Staff Clinic. Then my wife was discharged. And we now came back. I said, okay, leave Federal Staff Hospital, go to National Hospital and continue your antenatal there. We were done. Immediately she went back to her antenatal. They say, hey, this your child is not growing. You need operation. At 7 months, go and call your husband to bring this thing, they want to do operation. I said, okay, well, leave those people. Stop going to antenatal. You understand? We control everything, the universe is under our palm. You understand? So now she ceased from antenatal. I'm not encouraging you not to go to antenatal, but circumstances led to it. You understand?
Worst case scenario.
In a worst case scenario, if people want to tempt your God, I say don't go to operation. It's going to go for antenatal, and she ceased. Then we stayed. Then we stayed till the day, a week before she was born. The light was, she delivered. She delivered on 20th, I think, yes, but it was on 20th, Easter. Easter was like 21st or so, in the eve of Easter of that particular year. So a week before it, something like labor started on my wife. And when that labor started, I said, okay, let us go to hospital. But you know now, it's Adejaya.
Yes, sir.
So I sent Kenneth and this thing to take my wife to the hospital. Before they should go to hospital, I have to make inquiry. Now I called the angels, and we now say, they say it's not labor. That they came to remove what they used to hold the child. Yes. That if they don't remove it, the child will not come out. So it's not labor. I should call them to come back. Then they remove the paranda. After removing it, then the thing ceased. Then a week after that, the labor started. I was still in the church on Saturday because it was on Easter Eve of Easter. That is, Easter is always on Sunday, right?
Sometimes Monday.
Sometimes, okay, yeah, okay. So it was on Saturday, I was still on program. By 7 o'clock, the labor started. Then Kenneth took my wife to the National Hospital. Then before 8 o'clock, after 8, my wife was put to bed. You get the point? Okay, so now this is that control we have over. Yeah?
Yes,
Yeah.
You know that our topics are always very explosive.
Yeah.
Very explosive and revelatory.
Okay.
So you gave an illustration. You delved into science entropy without knowing it, chemistry.
Okay, chemistry, okay.
Without knowing it.
Okay.
You delved into that.
Okay.
So you let us know that anything that is in this physical matter is a condensed spirit.
Yeah.
And if you want to demystify or spiritualize matter, you simplify it.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you let us know that when matter is heated up, when the temperature is applied to matter, temperature is applied to matter, there will be vibration.
Yeah.
Elements will vibrate.
Yeah.
And in chemistry, it's called entropy.
Entropy.
Yes, sir. When
Clap for me.
when entropy takes place,
Okay.
something that is solid
Yes.
will begin to evaporate, to take on the nature of liquid to gas.
Okay.
Now, the mystery of explanation is here is that anything in the physical, this is a deep revelation.
Okay.
You want to spiritualize it,
Yeah.
to make it spiritual,
Yeah.
give it simplification and explanation.
Okay, yeah.
So my question now is, number one, you know that we have the science of matter, spiritual, material scientists.
Yeah.
Is there any way, can you teach how to create using matter? Is it possible to create using matter, number one? Physical matter, is it possible to create from the physical realm?
Yeah.
That's for physical scientists.
Sciences, yeah.
Now, how do we create from the realm of spiritual essence, that is science beyond matter?
Okay.
How do we create using matter essence,
Yeah.
physical scientists, then the soul scientists, the science beyond matter? How do we create them? What is the relationship between matter and spirit in creation? You've explained it intermittently, but I want us to give definite explanation for the sake of the audience.
Okay. Now, the first question you asked me was?
The first question is, is there
physical,
any
how to
process one can
create physically.
using physical elements?
Yes.
Is it possible?
Yes. Number one, using physical elements to create is possible through familiarity. And that patience, which I say is virtue. When you concentrate your attention on an object, an ant, a tree, anything over time, then by that your calmness, the consciousness of your consciousness and that animal's consciousness or object consciousness will come in alignment. Then through impression and the intuition or vision or revelation, you begin to know how to clone those things into being. Then, if you have not been able to be close to anything physical, but you meditate and think over it over time, right? Then your spirit will be able as well. It's just like a radio station. You understand? Yes, tuning to a radio station. So immediately your thoughts align to anything frequency, the frequency of something, then you get it there.
And that can be done through meditation.
That can be done through meditation. In the physical world, it is through research.
Okay.
And sometimes meditation, deep thoughts, concentration over time. Then you find out that you begin to align things. Then, but before you could really begin to create in the physical, you have to be very, very versatile. The versatility which comes from that research. What is the meaning of research? Researching what you have already searched. I mean, searching what you have already searched, sought for. All right. Then going over and over and again. That is research.
Exhausting the known.
Exhausting the known through intensity and extensivity. Understand? Then you will be able now to begin to align things that are common. That's invention.
Yes.
How do you harmonize this thing? Like this watch now. The person who manufactured this watch, understand? Align leather. This leather now, if you break them down, you see the components of how far the person traveled to bring one things and others and make it there. If you see this iron now, you see how far. This is a finished product, a trapped spirit of the person who manufactured it.
He was able to harmonize different elements.
Yes, this thing now is that's what we are saying, that everything created by God has a soul, and there is a trapped spirit, and everything that created by a man has a spirit of the man who created it. So this chair I'm sitting now is a trapped spirit of the person who manufactured it, which by just me sitting on this chair and looking at it, I cannot see the process that person passed through to have it.
That's it.
Understand? So if I start now praying to manufacture this chair, I will pray from now till the next 100 years, because it's already a finished product. Then if I don't need prayer, I will go and study the principles of how this person arrived in manufacturing this chair. And as soon as I learn the principle, you begin to. So religion, you begin to manufacture it. So now religion don't want to adhere to principles.
To science.
To science, which is principle. They want to use prayer and fasting and ritual and dogmas to arrive at a finished product. Foul. And that is why you guys must go. Do you understand? So to a large extent, there is nothing that is spiritual on earth. I have to tell you that. For you to be spiritual depends on your level of consciousness and awareness. Then prophecy is a zoom into the eternal now. When you bring your phone now and zoom it, you begin to see tiny, tiny things that is there. If you bring a microscope and look at an ant now, you see that this grass now is like a tree through the microscope. You understand? So telescope, right? Okay. So now in your calmness, you zoom into nature. You zoom into nature.
So calmness is a form of methodology for material creation.
Yes. That is what I have told you people, that the beginning of spirituality is contentment. And what is contentment? Making do with what you have at every point in time and living in need, not in want. So if I bring something now, I hold it a stone. I'm not going anywhere until I understand the composition of that stone. That is what will now give you that inspiration that you can break stone, all right, and use it to mold something and mold something. Without that concentration, that creativity will not be there. It will not settle. The essence of that thing which you want to create or manufacture will not settle in you, and it will lack coherence. So now, every physical sciences students can only become a creative person or inventor by concentration and researching and using the known, exhausting the unknown in that area, the knowns on that area. When you exhaust the known on that area, that field will reveal itself to you, because your frequency become a line. But if you leave it and go into praying and fasting and all that, I'm telling you, you are into trouble. So it is so easy to invent. All the inventors spend maybe 10, 20, 15 years concentrating on one thing. But as soon as they get it invented, pam. Is that okay? Yes. Now, that is number one. Number two, diving deep into the spiritual world like the laws of truth now is a condensed spirit of something we extracted from the spiritual world and we trapped it in the laws of truth. So now, we said it last time, our atoms, physical scientists in chemistry has a periodic table, up to 100 periodic table, which about 100, which the people who are physical scientists took their time to understand the elements, the principles and elements and the atoms that forms a particular, all the physical things you could see. You understand? Now, what did they do? They put it in a table and say, if you want to get a magnesium, if you want to get an electron, neutron, this, use this one and use this one and combine this, you get this. Just like the illustration I did on Thursday about primary color, to get this color and color by mixture. Yes. That's invention. Is that okay? Yes. So now, for us, the spiritual scientists, we have our own atomic number. And that atomic number is the laws of truth. We have 100 laws of truth, which from law 1 to law 100. So there is no spiritual problem on earth you bring. Those laws cannot be able to resolve them. So the only thing you need is the laws of truth, which has been condensed. Through that now you will find the Spirit of God.
Exactly. That
would cause you to act according to the will of God. And things on the physical will be able to obey to you. Captured. Then, in this is it now. You see, now, this is the spiritual world. And this is the physical world. Right? Yes. Okay. There is a thin line when thoughts translate into matter. Okay. But that can only happen in a very deep, refined thought. Very deep, refined thought is a very thin line that is not perceptible by a human, ordinary person. But concentration and deep thoughts can give you that. So when you dive deep into very intensive depths, all right, of thoughts, concentration, when that thought stays for a very long time, it will metamorphose. No, it will not come physically. You know, atom is not visible. You understand? It will not come into the visible immediately. It would gradually metamorphose into that and begin to crystallize into atom. When you form atoms, over time, the similar atom and the neutrons that they are breaking and they are coming together, they begin now to form. Then from there, over time, then they become what? They become a matter.
Okay.
Just like the crude oil. Crude oil today is dead bones. Carbonaceous matters over millions of years from the crude oil. So you can't expect to form crude oil just by sitting here within a space of time. You understand? It is formed over time. Now, that is how spirit controls matter. You remember the story also when a parrot visited a day after our anniversary on 25th March. When the parrot came, 2020, thank God. When the parrot came, I was in the house in the morning by 4 a.m. I came out. My wife was the first person to see the parrot. Now it was making noise. Now I came. When I came, I saw it. I felt within me it was a messenger. Then I told my wife to go and bring rice that left over for leftover from anniversary, cooked anniversary. Then I said, bring cooked one and bring fresh rice. He brought. We took to the parrot. He didn't eat. He didn't fly. So at the point, I now decided, okay, let me go inside and leave the parrot. By then, those flowers was in my house. So I now went inside. When I going inside, they had already told me in the night that they were going to send a messenger, but I had forgotten. When I went inside, they now quickened in my spirit that this is the messenger. So go and know what the message he brought to you. Now I came back to this is in an estate, so there is nothing that will bring parrots inside ordinarily there. So now I went, when I got there, the parrot has flown away. He flew away through the gate fence. Then I said, okay, what am I going to do? I went inside. I put my knicker, then I came out. I went to a far place, a little far place distance, the garden, under a melina tree. I stood there and commanded the bird to locate me.
Controlling matter.
Yes, I'm talking about controlling matter now.
At a higher level. You will not do that.
Forget the higher. Everybody can do it, but we are just teaching the principle. You can't see that somebody is speaking English at a higher level. It's just a matter of understanding, this principle, and that's why we are here. So that everybody will be greater than me, if possible, like me, whatever. In their own fields. All right? Now, when I got there, I sat down on that melina tree. I got there around 10:40 something. When I got there, 10:40 something a.m. So when I got there, I sat down. As I was sitting, meditating, before I knew, I heard the cry of the parrot. He came and perched on the top of the tree. And when he perched on top of the tree, I looked up, then the other spirit spoke to us, God. Okay. So God is looking for that person who can think positively over time in his alignment. And so also Satan is looking for that person who can think negatively over time. Okay. So it depends on where you hang your thoughts. Meditate. And those that are religious, that's why they are not amounting to anything. Because they mix good and bad. They are not hot, they are not cold. They say God kills and they say God creates. So a religious person can be angry today and tomorrow is peaceful. Is happy. You understand? So tomorrow it can be loving. To next tomorrow is that. So there is no this concentration in religion because of the lies, the truth they import to garnish their lies. Okay. So that stability is not there. So everything is dysfunctional.
All right.
You understand?
Yes.
Okay.
Then if spirit controls matter, then can spirit solve problem created by matter?
Yes. Spirit can solve problem created by matter, but matter cannot solve problem created by spirits.
Okay. Explain.
Yeah. Now, let's talk of people who are doing IVF. If it is evil spirits, what?
vitro fertilization.
In vitro fertilization. Okay, thank you. Now, if it is spirit that causes you to be barren, understand? Even if you want, go to the greatest gynecologist on earth, spirit will still come and scatter it. I've seen and experienced one of us telling me that she had done the IVF, but when they bring the egg, her own egg and the man's sperm to join together, they will begin to repel one another. Until she came here, we had to go to the spiritual world and destroy the demon that is causing that. Now, if you see, so that's the reason why we are indispensable. Everybody on earth who have breath and reasonable must look for the New Jerusalem. And that's why I'm releasing this thing, because I don't want to be only me that know it. Yes. I want it to be spread and shared, so that as soon as, even if I'm no longer here in the physical world, Satan, when he sees anybody who says I'm a Christian, he starts running. Isaiah 11:9. Yes. You know, it starts running. Now, okay, you are now asking me, when you had toothache, I prayed for you and gave you organic, and your toothache stopped. But each time your phone rings, you go and pick your phone, the toothache will start. True or false? 2000 and the year 2000, 7 years ago, or when? He's laughing. Last month. You understand? Immediately a call comes to her phone. She picks it. The toothache will start.
The spirit.
Yeah.
Controlling matter.
Yes. You see. So now, after much, we now have to go to the spirit to go and question. When we went to the spirit to check, we now find out that the nanny that lived with her was possessed and was used, controlled. Now let me use that control, because you are the one who asked this question. Controlled to come to your house to have you destroyed. That if not because you're strong, you know you would have rubbished you. Now, she now gave her a phone to hold. Now, when he gave her a phone, those people materialized and collected the phone and coded that phone. Spiritually. Physically now. Coded that phone, all right? Then, till today, have you brought it in? Till today, if you press the number, it gives you a number, not Arabic, not anything. It has its own language. See, today.
That spirit controlling matter.
Then that's the spirit. So they programmed it and gave to her, and took your picture that was on the phone you innocently gave to her, and we got her in Iba beach, in the beach where she was lying down in the spiritual world. This person. All right? So she's there. Now the angel was there protecting her, of course. But the angel recorded that in all our movements, we have not made a demand to this one. So you find out that consciousness is the only thing that makes things to work. You understand? So there was a limitation, but she was there. Only thing they knew is that she would not be harmed or killed as they planned. But she was there in the beach. Now when I got there, I saw her there. Then I began to question, how did this thing come? He said, through the pictures she had on the phone she gave to the nanny. Now, I now had to stand, I stood her up and dusted her. After dusting her, then she became normal. Now, became normal, but she was normal as in walking. But in the other world, she was not normal. Then I had to dust her. After dusting her, then they told us that then I now had to re-encode through spoken word and neutralize that code. Then the code was neutralized by a higher power than that of the Satan. Then they told us, okay, that we now have to go physically now to take it to a full repairer. a programmer who will now change the things and give it another code. You see? So now, have you seen it? Okay. Now, could your dressing, your bathing, your speaking, whatever you are doing, could it reflect to that? No, spirit said it doesn't concern you with whatever you say in the physical. So that's why we are still warning religious people who think that enchantment is a way of communicating with God. Speaking in tongues, or talking or claiming I'm a born again. He said, Paul I know. Jesus I know. Acts of Apostle 19:15. Who are you? We don't know you there. You are in a cage there as our property. You are here rattling and making noise. You want to deliver somebody. They beat them black and blue. Was it those people that were possessed that beat them? No, it was the spirit inside of them. So that's another controlling matter. Spirit controlling matter. Because spirit that lives in them was what beat the person who was trying to deliver them. So now, with all these things you are doing. So now you see people coming to church, coming to religious center, hey, clap, shout. God does not hear this sound. He doesn't hear that sound because God is spirit. Hey, God, I want a car. If you had not wanted that car in your heart and your thoughts, you will never have it. You are singing, hey, only you can do what no man can do. It's just a song. They're doing nothing. You rather think of a song than sing it without thinking it. Do you understand? You rather think of a song. Yes, Romans chapter 10, verse 10 to 11. You rather think of a song than singing it without thinking it. You see all these gospel artists, they are polluting the system because many of them are under addiction. Many of them are womanizers, smokers and drunkards. So their vibration is negative because of their thought pattern. Are you getting what I'm saying? So matter cannot control spirit. Now this will take us to this family prayer, family deliverance, right? I think we are coming close. Family deliverance, where somebody who is physically going to a shrine and is using machete to scatter shrine, and you want to do family deliverance, they ask you to bring a bag of salt. Then they bring a bag of salt. Then you dig the hole and put it. Those things are a deceived person. Because they are matter. Those salt has nothing to do with anything. That's why witches and wizards, you cannot use charm to stop a witch from operation. You can't use charm because those things you are tying on the tree and tying in your house and this one, they are matter. And the witch moves through thoughts. So it can penetrate. Like the day we handled the case of your wife. Understand? When she was seriously sick. Then that time she was sick. We pray, no way. Pray, no way. Then I had to go to the spirit and send angels that was guiding the house. Then I came here, I was sitting in my office. A pig, which they promised the witch doctor 37 years ago, came to this entrance by this gate to check. He went to my house.
The angels were there, you couldn't access.
Angels were there, you couldn't access the things. No. He came here to confirm whether I was in the office.
Okay.
When he came here, I was just sitting down there. A pig just came, like an apparition, and left. So when he left, he went to my house to go attack the wife. They sent it. So the angels that were there was using their feather, their wings, to flick it off out of that. So it couldn't enter as a pig. That is form to form and spiritual form and spiritual form. Then he went back. When he went back and reported that he couldn't enter there because of the angelic beings in my place. Now they use her picture. When they use her picture now and use it through that thought pattern, they came. When they came to my house, now they came like a smoke and entered. The angel couldn't have control over them. You get the point now?
Remember that I came here asking, did they have anything to do with pigs?
Yes.
The father trained pigs.
Okay, the father trained pig at home.
Yes.
Have you seen it? The father trained pig.
Yes.
I didn't know. Now, he now used the pig. He couldn't go. Now, what did he do? He came as a thought. Immediately he came as a thought. By imagining that picture there, they were able to defeat angels. So now, if if the person they now came to attack was not a light, or is not a light, or spiritually conscious, to ember his own consciousness and thought pattern, to radiate against the thoughts, the negative black smoke they generated, he will attack the person. So now that's why they had access to attack her. Because when I went to the spirit, I was questioning which angel was on duty. So the angel were now telling me that they themselves, they became helpless because he came as a thought pattern. Which now demands that the person to whom they came to attack should supposed to be what? Conscious.
Have a counteracting frequency.
Thank you. You have to have a counteracting frequency for you to be able to boost them out and repel them outside.
Thought pattern. So,
Did
We're all getting.
you get that? This was happening 2000 and what?
that's 2018.
2018. Okay. All right.
As a way of systematic recap,
Yeah.
you mentioned something that is very incisive.
Okay.
You said that people create by default through their thought patterns in the physical.
To create evil.
Yes, evil by default. Yes, people create cancer, create high blood pressure, create depression. Can you teach us a little bit how systematically we can create health? Just recap. You've said it in the midst of all this. Can you recap that?
Okay, how to create good health.
Yes,
Okay.
and another thing, you taught something on Thursday. It exploded me.
Yeah.
Maybe the others should learn. How can one become spiritual ordinarily?
Okay.
Okay, sir, sorry.
Yeah.
So that we don't mix things.
Yeah.
This should be the last question, if you permit me.
Yeah.
Like this one now.
Yeah.
No, like after this now, then you use this one to wrap it.
Okay.
So that will not mix up.
Okay.
Now, when you talked about, you've given us an understanding that, okay, a problem caused by a spirit, we cannot use matter to solve it, like the IVF instance you
Yeah,
gave,
yeah.
and
your own
case.
case, yeah.
All right. Now, a problem that is not caused by a spirit, can you, okay, let's say it is matter to matter. Then I want a kind of explanation so that people will understand that if a problem is caused by a spirit, it takes only spirit to solve it.
Yes.
And if it is matter, you only need matter to handle it.
Yes.
So how do you...
If it is matter, the spirit can interlope
Superior to matter.
because it's superior to matter.
Okay.
You understand? Spirit can transverse
Okay.
and bypass and come and control matter. But matter cannot go and control spirit. So if there is a problem that is caused by matter, spirit still can come. What I'm going to explain to you, spirits can come to intervene. Like the person who had a broken leg, it was a matter.
Okay.
Dislocation, a broken leg, the bone was broken. You understand? It was what? It was matter.
Okay.
You understand?
What spirit cost?
Yes, not spirit cause.
Okay.
You understand? But now, there are certain things you have to diagnose before you begin to administer or call spirit. It is when you finish the known and the known did not respond, When you finish with matter, and matter did not respond to matter, like you are treating case, a medicine, and you finish the matter and the matter did not respond, that's when you can invite spirits. For instance, now somebody had an accident, like when you had a dislocation, right? Yes. You know, when you called me on phone, I didn't pray for you. I told you it's a fresh wound. Yes. By that time, the matter is still at work. So it is needless to pray for you at that point. So there should be a time to allow matter to readjust, to run its course, and reposition itself. Then, after they finish reposition itself and it refuses to go, when all the matter natural processes have taken place and it refuses, now this is the time. Now spirit can now come and say, okay, you don't want to go, you must go. Okay. Then it will now come and intervene. Okay. Then if you intervene without waiting for nature to take its course, it becomes a magic. Okay. Are you there? Yes. It becomes what? A magic, and a show off. Which we say that the greatest power on earth is the power to control power. Okay. A show off. And oftentimes, God will not be there, but Satan can help you to fix some things. Okay. Then you think it is godly. Okay. You understand? So you should understand all this frequency and the pattern. That's why we say religion is still the same thing. Somebody is a smoker and a drunkard and is having a liver problem. You come to church, you put the person on the prayer line and pray for him. When you pray for him and he gets healed, you interposed nature. Then he goes back and starts drinking the alcohol again. Why? Because you have not taught him what led to that, the processes. So to a large extent, you find out that many of these things, you are taking God into your hands. You understand?
This is an academy.
You
So you don't juxtapose one above the other.
Yes, you don't juxtapose one above the other. So the first diagnosis you are going to run through the person, or if the person is very critically sick, you can heal the person. After healing the person, sit the person down and deliver the person attitudinally by telling the person what caused the liver problem. Okay. After telling the person what caused the liver problem, you tell the person stop it. Otherwise, the worst will come to you, which Jesus said, go and sin no more. Otherwise, the worst thing will happen to you.
Explanation is God.
Explanation is God, right? Okay. So you see, there are curriculum which people supposed to study before they say, I'm a pastor, I'm a general overseer, I am a great man of God, and all that. Because they are just keep on confusing things. So that's why this topic is very, very important and interesting, because it helps us to separate things. So now, when you now tell the person, stop smoking, if you stop smoking, that sickness will no longer come back again. Understand? Then, if peradventure it is spirit that is causing it already, you can handle it spiritually. So this is why we brought 3 types of deliverance. One is spiritual deliverance, which is dealing with the spirits. Another one is attitudinal deliverance, which is dealing with you, who is the conductor, all right, or the container of any sickness or problem you are passing through. Then your attitude have to change, and you have to change your thought pattern and your frequency from negative to positive, from ungodliness to godliness, from wickedness, from hate to love, from intolerance to tolerance, from racism to unity and oneness and all that. All right? Then by relocation now, your frequency will become okay and your body will be maintained in a good health at all time. Okay. Is that okay? Yes. All right. But in a situation where this spiritual deliverance conducted and attitudinal deliverance does not follow by teaching the person his left and right, then the person is still worse than he was before the healing took place. Okay. Then when you now finish attitudinal deliverance and the spiritual deliverance and the problem persists because of the body sickness, now this is when you can go to organic. You now go to spirit again and tell them, please tell me where God hid the cure for this thing that is now in the body. It is no longer spirit. It's no longer attitudinal. It is now remaining that a damage had already been caused in the body system. You know, now that's when now we call organic. The angel revealed unto us organic, which when you take it, it will now rebuild your matter. Then it will become matter versus matter. Like people suffering arthritis, rheumatism, like Ikemba. Not Ikemba. Ikemba. Yeah. He told me he has been having pains for years and he has taken all medication, no way, and prayed. And the minister living water, it didn't work. I said, okay, I just gave him organic. Within 3 days, he said he couldn't see the pain again. So that was a matter case.
Okay.
Now, we still have to talk to these confused religious people, you know? Yeah, because now speaking words is not what God hears. You use word to communicate with your fellow human being. Not with spirits. That's number one. Number two, family deliverance. If spirit, are you getting it now? If spirit, it takes spirit 5 minutes to leave your village and come to city and destroy you and scatter your business, then why do you go for family deliverance carrying 5 prayer warriors, charter motor for them, lodge them in a hotel, kill cow for them, give them 20, 40,000 naira depending on what they bill you, all right, 80, 100 depending on what they bill you, then, and at the same time buy a bag of salt and the olive oil to go and deliver a spirit that take 5 minutes to locate you anywhere in the world. You know, now we said it's like somebody using cane to fight somebody with AK-47 or Karashika. It will scatter you into pieces. So this is the reason why, based on the Soul Academy and spiritual science, we now discovered that if you want to fight a demon, ancestors, what you have to do is avoid analog or using matter. Then we have to speed up through our discovery and say there is a digital form of spiritual exercise and fasting. All right? So that we will be able to do what? To capture the spirit that causes problem. Are you there? Now, so that we will be able now to, you did mathematics, collection of like terms. Understand? Yes. So we now open the brackets to do collection of like terms and find out that these religious people have bracketed spirit and matter together. Biological form of fasting as a spiritual exercise to see God. You see? Now we said, okay, there is a different kind of fasting they have missed, and that is emotional fasting. And when we bring in emotional fasting, right, then we now introduce fasting from anger, malice, envy, greed, jealous, hatred, and attachment, comparison, age, whatever that is negative. Then if you run away from this negative emotion, which Satan feeds from, then you will attract the presence of God, and no demon and no ancestral spirit will have access to you.
Right.
You see where we have helped them?
Yes.
That we now separated matter to matter. Your thoughts have to be cleaned for you to fight evil spirit and your ancestral spirit, not your body. By fasting biologically, you cannot see God. Have you seen it?
So all this their fasting is just helping their body.
It's just their body system,
That's
not helping. Yeah, okay, watching weight anyway. You know, so it doesn't go to the spirit.
Wow.
The original meaning of fasting, the word fasting means something that can make you to move fast.
That's right.
To move fast, to move faster, because obesity is an error. Now, it is the meaning of fasting, like the 40 days and 40 nights Jesus fasted for, was telling you is like a launch into the spiritual world, that you can control this, your physical flesh first, by keeping a timetable and maintaining it. And you can deny your physical self material things. So it become a memory, and something to remember. That if I was able to fast for 40 days and 40 nights and suspend this my body system and control it, then there is nothing that will come to me that I will not be able to do. That is the reason why soldiers go for training. They are not beating soldiers and say, roll and push this drum for anything. It is to strengthen their muscles and their body so that if they are in the desert and find hardship, it becomes that their body have already been attuned to that. Disciplined. So that is the fasting which people do, which we said. Moses fasted for the 40 days and 40 nights the first time. He still couldn't control his emotion. And came and broke the first commandment and went back again and fasted for another 40 days and 40 nights. He couldn't still control his emotion. So why still people fasting now? You understand? He later died out of anger. And the demon that killed him, which was the demon of anger, still wanted to take him in the book of Jude chapter 1. But God said, okay, let me have mercy upon him. And he was saved. You get the point? So there is nothing like religion supposed to be stripped off on the face of the earth. The only thing standing as the science is the science of the spirit, and we are the custodian of it, who are developing the curriculum and the syllabus. So it is spirit to spirit. Use spirit to judge spiritual things.
And
matter to matter. Are you there?
Yes.
Then this is still what goes down to religious, telling you to sow seed, to get married. Prophet offering, to do that. Now, seed you sow does not change God. It can only change you.
It's matter.
Because it is matter. You understand? It is what? Matter. So you can't sow a seed to get married. You can't. Yeah?
You are exploding things here.
Yeah, but
Nothing matter can connect to God.
no. Nothing matter can connect to God. Then they tell you, give God what pains you. Immediately you sow a seed of things that pains you, you have generated a negative emotion. And what you attract is not God, it's Satan. So we will go for the cheerful giver more than giving God what? So a painful giver. You understand? Because there are two parallel things, but religion mixes two of them. So when you give God something that pains you, don't give to have, give because you have. Religion
remove that painful.
Yes, religion gives to have. So they are doing a Niger bait with God. So you don't give to have, you give because you have.
This is what every religion does.
Yeah.
I was even a victim.
You were a victim, right? Yes. You are giving to have. These things are matter. Give because you have. Give because spirit has given you the power to get.
Yeah. So when you give to have, you are using matter.
Yes. When you give to have, you are using matter to control spirit, access spirit, which is in inverse proportion.
Possible.
But what you should do is give because you have. So you are giving because spirit has already, you have already built a frequency with the spirit. So they are supplying you what you are giving. You get the point. So yeah. Don't give to have. Have to give. Give because you have. Yes.
Because you have.
Yes. So don't give God what pains you. Like they will come to church now, they intimidate you. You use your transport fare. All right? And pay. You walk out there, you see somebody that gave you a lift. He say God is working. It's a lie. So long as we are giving out of pains, you have already attracted a negative force, and that is a demon. So you will be a cheerful giver. Is that okay?
Yeah, I'm just finishing. You know what happened? There is something I saw as I was trying to handle something online. I saw one man of God. I saw someone saying, I gave God $1 million. That was why he made me who I am now today.
Yes.
So now in this your explanation, I was trying to say it's not because he gave God.
Yes. It's a deception.
It's a deception. Okay,
It's a deception.
So you are just saying that have
Yes.
and give.
Yes.
So that you will cheerfully give
Yes.
out.
Have to give.
Have
Don't
to
give to have.
Don't give to have.
Yes.
So that was an error.
Yeah, that was an error. It's an inverse. So,
This explanation drew from the point because a lot of people have been using material things, inanimate things
Yeah.
to connect to spirit.
yes,
Without
with
knowing
anxious
that-
heart,
Yeah.
with envious heart, with painful heart, with regret, with target.
Targets. Without knowing that you need to connect to spirit to get the things of the spirit.
Yes, get it first. Then from there you can now control. Those things will
And
come.
cheerfulness as a foundation of giving is the frequency of spirit.
Yes.
That will make your giving spirit.
Yeah. Make your spirit spiritual. Yeah.
So maybe, are you done? So
Yeah.
He has answered my question.
All your question answered. Okay.
The last one, he used the organic
to answer
to
it.
answer it. I
Okay.
wanted to ask.
Okay.
When he said in a situation whereby the spiritual has been taken care of,
The attitudinal have been
then
taken
you now
care
know
of.
that the other one is now matter to matter. That is when you use organic physical things to fill up the
Yes.
so
Yes.
it's clear.
Okay.
Explanation is God. I think
Right.
it just came to me.
Yeah. You see, so that's what we do here in the church. You have never seen us begging for money or intimidating any person to have money, because it is me that will sow seed into your life
Exactly.
by giving you the principles of how to make money.
Yes.
Then you go and plant it. What you bring to the church is fruits.
It's fruit.
So whatever you bring to the New Jerusalem, you have already received 10%, 100-fold of it. It's out of surplus. It's me, the church, have to sow a seed of the word of God and give you the spirit to back you up. Then you use the spirit and you go effortlessly and make money. Then you bring it. Yes.
Not seed.
Yeah.
Thanking God.
Thanking God for that. So nobody have, you see many people, when they tell them to come to the New Jerusalem, the first thing they ask is, how much do they pay? How much do they pay to see the man of God? You know why? Because they have been robbed there. Sorry?
That's a modus operandi.
Outside there, so you have to, because they are empty. If I need money, just as you posted to me Psalm 20 verse 12. So 50 verse 12. He said, if I were hungry, I won't tell you, because everything on earth belongs to me.
That's right.
So God does not need any man to assist him. He doesn't need any man. Okay, come with your question.
Answer the past. Maybe just to summarize.
Okay.
Can you give us any objective solution on how one can live in perfect health?
Okay.
Create perfect health instead of creating sickness by default.
Yes.
And how one can be spiritual.
Yeah, thank you. How to create perfect health is so simple. It is what? So simple. Just change. Like the camera looking at me now. If you change the focus and put it there, will it get me?
No.
You will get me. You can't think two things at a time. Then what you really need to do first is to know the attribute and nature of God. God does not do evil. And nothing evil can come from God. So if you want to see God and receive from God, who gives good health and long life, think about him. Now, learn how to count your blessings. Because it's often a disgrace because of this deceptive nature of matter and materialism. Where Jesus is saying, seek you first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and every other thing shall be added unto you. Find a fellowship and relationship with spirit first. Then every other thing will be given unto you. Material things. Now, when you learn how to count your blessings, remember what I told you people. You move faster in life and become progressive and be in good health. I told you people that the duty of every child of God is to take goods to the best or to perfection. But the duty of a fool is to turn every good to bad. Just like what religion is doing. If they manufacture phone, they say it manufactured in Atlantic Ocean. Nobody should use it. If they manufacture watch, they say watch carry a chip. Don't use it. ATM. they will scream at a point. They start using it. There's one they call Boko Haram. Boko Haram. Boko Haram. No, we don't need it. A point come, you start using it. There was a time they called television devil box. Right? Yes. Devil box. Nobody should use television. It's not you that manufactured it. You're just turning every good to bad. You have the power to condemn anything. You don't know how we created. Now, those that are saying television is a devil box, are they not using television today?
To even project their program.
To project their program. But then it was a devil's box. Supposing the person died then, you go and tell God that television, somebody took years to manufacture. Is a devil box. Is that okay? So now, what you do as a person is to take good to perfection. Understand? And take power to authority. So power is everywhere. Good, everything is God created is good. Now it is now when you become positive, you arrange and organize and take that in which is alpha, right, to omega. Take those things that are good to perfect through creativity and experience and deep thoughts. Am I communicating with you? Look at this thing now. If I ask you to touch this light bulb, can you? You cannot now. But if you even if you jump, you won't touch it. But stand up now and climb on this thing. Stand up. If I say it's a must, you will touch it. What do? You climb on this chair. When you climb on this chair, you will be able to touch it. So now, your reasoning and your creativity has given you the power to know that this is chair, which was not manufactured by you, and this is you. So you combine two of these things now, you have invented the capacity to touch this thing.
Exactly.
Solving problem by harmony.
Yes, by creating harmony. But if you are religious, you will not think of what to do. You start here, you say by faith. Yes, by faith, I'm going to touch something you know your hand will not get to. Do you understand? So science is everywhere. And that creativity is everywhere. Sit down. Is that? Explanation is God, right? Okay. So science is everywhere. But instead of you now being calm to think of a way out, you begin to cause confusion to yourself. Let me tell you, as so many of you who think you have a problem, there is none of your problem that is older than truth. So if you find truth, your problem will run away from you. Is that okay? Right. Now, this is it. So count your blessing. Focus all your attention on what God have done to you.
Maintain the frequency of God.
Maintain the frequency of God. How do you maintain the frequency of God? By focusing attention. Being grateful that you are alive. Number one. Number two, you can see, you can hear, you can walk, you can reason. Why not start making use of all those things? It is only one thing or two, three things you don't have is what is robbing your peace with all this possession. Maybe because you don't have money, called paper. Many people will come to church for counseling, many women. When I finish telling them, they feel ashamed of themselves. I say, look at you, a healthy person, having everything, that the capacity to make everything. But you are complaining because of one thing. Because some people say, my husband is this. I say, your husband is what? What is your husband? Don't you know that there are so many of your mates that are not married? There are so many of your mates that have not given birth to children. There are so many of your mates that have given birth to children and they died. There are so many of your mates that the husband is beating. And so many other things. So there will always be a way, if you're a positive thinker, not a negative thinker. If you are a pathfinder, not a fault finder, there will always be something you will see to concentrate. And when you concentrate on that positive things, before you know, bam, more, I attract more. That's what he said. Because you are faithful over a little thing, I'm going to make you rulers of men. So people should learn how to meditate on the positive things and the gifts God have given unto them, which are all good, and think on how to take this good and couple them and take them to perfection. Then if you get lost in truth you will not have time for anything negative, and you will not be pissed off. So then you last long, very calm and quiet. And you should know that there is nothing emergent in the spiritual world. When something happens that you feel it is bad, don't cry because that thing happened. Cry because it happened and you did not know, because it had already happened. That's the thing that happened in the immediate is just an effect, which proves your naivety and your ignorance and your unconsciousness and your religiosity. Because if you are in line with God, he said he doesn't do anything without telling his prophets. God would have told you 2 days or 3 days ago. You know, like we settle cases here. You know, yes, Ifebuche would have died on poison, right? 3 days after burying the mother. But we saw it a month before. And we sorted it out and removed the charm planted before. Princess would have had an accident by a woman who is in the office, who does not want her to do this and put accident on the car. We saw it before it happened and we removed it. And at the end of the day, the propeller still pulled, but it pulled in a place, not in a speed lane. Yes. The daughter in the UK would have died with the child, but we saw it before it happened. And we removed it. And the daughter delivered safely, and the mother is there, and the child is there. You see? So people have really been robbed off the God's essence. What we are doing now is to restore man back to God. And there is no way such can be done without principle and without science. Nobody asks you to pray. Your prayer reduces to the extent you know God and understand God.
That's another powerful revelation.
Is there?
Your prayer reduces to the extent to which you know
and understand God. Yes. Yes. Yeah? So I can't pray to drink water now. But those that found where water is in a stream or in a village could pray. Father, reveal to us, like is it Hagar, the Abraham's
the third son.
Yeah. Ishmael, the mother of Ishmael, right? Okay. Hagar. Yes, she went to a desert and there was no water. She prayed and God revealed to him where water is. You know, but those that are going to continue drinking it will no longer need to pray before they drink the water because it has already been found. So that's what we say. There is no faith in science, but there is science in faith. So when you are looking for a formula, you have to pray and ask God to guide you. But immediately that is found, then you don't need prayer again. You don't need faith. Or is application now. Is that okay? All right.
Thank you, sir. That is it.
How to be spiritual. Maybe
Okay. How to be?
How a person can be spiritual.
How can be spiritual is awareness. Okay. Just become aware. I explained it in this thing. Yeah. The more I say that being spiritual, nothing is spiritual and everything is spiritual. Okay. Being spiritual is zooming into the internal now. The more you know things, and you remember the illustration I gave, which I'm now repeating for the sake of the audience. If you want to be spiritual, now, your house, the last meal you took, the last bus you entered, the position of your bed, the position of your television, the position of your fridge have not been in your house. I don't know how they are. So to me, they are all spiritual to me because I don't know. But to you, it's no longer spiritual. So as the position of your things are no longer spiritual to you, right? That is also my own thing is spiritual to you, yes, but not spiritual to me. Now, you see the movement now. So if I want you now to be spiritual to me in my house, I take you to my house and show you everything. So we human beings, how to be spiritual is now, when you know the element and the composition and the attributes of God, you start acting it. Truth is made alive by action and application, according to the 7 laws of truth. When you now start acting it, now the essence of God will be there. Then through vision and dreams and intuition, God will take you to his house because you are now my friend.
There was familiarity.
Yes, then yes, he begin now to introduce you. This is how to pray for me. This is how to ask me for anything. This is how to live above our central spirit. This is, you see, this is how heaven is. Heaven is a state of consciousness, not a place. So when you are peaceful, you are in heaven. When you are thankful, sincerely, you are in heaven. When it remains consistent, then it becomes eternity. Then he begins to introduce you to all these things. That's how to be spiritual.
Being spiritual is conscious understanding.
Conscious understanding. So I'm not spiritual now because as I'm talking to you, I'm watching at something. I'm not watching anything. But I'm spiritual because through intuition, God has used that channel to communicate to me. You understand? Which was saying about emotion. Emotion is the same thing as motion. Emotion. The spiritual essence of it. Now, if somebody sends a text to you in your phone, right? It's spiritual to you, you say it. Then when the person is typing, it is the phone that converts it through its own language, 0 and 1, and converts it and translates all the pictures through the process of 0 and 1 to you and push it to you. You understand? Okay, so this is how spirit works. It's all about familiarity. So people who are learning coding, are you there? Who are learning coding, speaks the language of God. Then you begin to wonder. You think it is it becomes spiritual to those who don't know how to code. So what we are teaching humanity now is how to be spiritual, so that they learn the coding number of God and the alphabet of God. And that alphabet of God are all the laws of truth. Is that okay? So spirituality is not what they are bragging. I'm a great man of God. I am that. There is no man of God like me. You know? Yes. As there is no great speaker of your mother's dialect, there how it's supposed to be. There's supposed not to be any person titled the great man of God, unquote. Because the greatest man of God, if we are to say a man, God in a man, was Jesus Christ. So we have continued from him and all that. So nobody should make mockery of humanity by ruling 1 million people who don't know what you know. It's a deception. It's a scam. Everybody's supposed to be free and start going. Like now, how many of you among the congregation want to be a pastor? You don't have the time.
We're all pastors. Because
you are pastors in your own area. So you are solving problems. You can't come here and begin to pray. What you come here is to learn principles on how to pray and get things right. Thank you. So this is spirit versus matter.
Wow.
Thank you. So regarding the question you're asking, in the case of your wife, as regards spirit to spirit, matter to matter, and medicine and organic and all that, when your wife got healed spiritually, after the spiritual movement and all that, a week after that, she went back again in coma and was unconscious. And when they brought her to the church, here she was lying down, prayed all manner of prayer. It wasn't working. She was not responding. Nothing was happening. Then we had to go to the spirit. And when we went to the spirit, they told us that this is not a spiritual case, that spirit has finished their job, that she needs food. We should call a nurse to feed her, to give her drip. After giving her drip, let her listen to messages. And by listening to the messages and feeding, then the problem will be okay. And what happened? You went, did as you were being told, then within 2 days, she became okay. Okay, it wasn't that evening, okay, she jacked up and became normal. Have you seen it? If we have been religious and not diagnostic and spiritual and scientific, what would have happened? We would have been praying, then she will die. And when she dies, it will look as if God is not working. This is still applied to Teresa, the one selling Teresa Inquire, right? You see, I teased her On Thursday, yeah. She came to me, she fell sick, we prayed. I said, check your thoughts pattern and check your health and other things, how you are stressing yourself so much. She told me, no, that is an attack. I said, okay. We went to the spirit. They told us in the spiritual world that it's not an attack, that she has to work on her health, on herself. Then she now, at the point of collapsing, went to the nurse treating her, said, okay, let's go and go to tests. She went to test, and after test, they say he has typhoid, malaria 3 or what? Type 320. Typhoid. Then immediately she received injection. She became okay. But she called it attack. So if we didn't diagnose, what will happen? We continue praying and fasting and shouting and making noise. Bah! She will die and collapse. A princess, moonlit. You know, she bends when she's walking. So over, since 2014, over 8 years or 7 years, she has been having pains, excruciating pains. And when she came, we prayed for her. After praying for her, I gave her organic. She took organic, and nothing happened. Now, it was last Sunday or Monday, we went to the spirit for her. When we went to the spirit for her, we found out that it was a demon. A demon that the great-grandfather worshipped that came to cripple her. Then we have to get the demon, destroy that demon, and lose the whole villagers. And when they were being delivered, then we sprinkled living water in the spiritual world and corrected it, and the whole problem died down. The pain died down. They say with time, she'll start walking straight. Arize's wife, or mother, Mama Arize, from Anambra in Adazian, had been sick, that even brought her to Abuja. Then after much prayer and all that, it didn't work. We gave her organic. It subsided. Then we had to go to the spirit. When we got to the spirit, we now find out that she matched poison. And a reptile she matched was a reptile he matched in the spiritual world, was what was working in her body. Then the reptile was killed, and in the leg that was paining her, it's like an open wound, but you will not see it physically, but spiritually it's an open wound. Then we corrected all that. Before the daughter could call her, that we went to the spirit. In the night of that day, she said she was surprised how she gallantly woke up to go and ease herself, which she has never done. Then it was the following morning that the wife, the daughter, was now calling her to tell her that we went to the spirit for you yesterday. You see? So organic cancelled. Prayer cancelled. You need to go to the root to get it uprooted. So this is how, if you don't know the layers, you know religion is a confused thing. Yes. You go to doctor, before he treats you, you say, go and run test. Simple. Is there any crime in it? Now, how could somebody come now and say, pray for me? Bah. No teaching, no explanation, no query, nothing, no even diagnosis. Then the person will not survive. Thank you.
All right, viewers, we've come to the end of today's episode, and I hope you enjoyed it. Spirit versus matter, how to relate spirit to spirit and matter to matter. And from everything we have learned so far, it has made us to understand that so many persons, they interlope these two things, spirit and matter. So situations that needed spiritual attention, spiritual approach, spiritual principles, you see them using a matter. And somebody might say, what is matter? He said anything physical, anything material. Now he gave us an example. For example, someone, let's say a woman that goes for IVF, and if spirit is responsible for her barrenness, no amount of IVF, no matter the gynecologist she met, that will be able to produce result, because the spirit will always what interface. But if it is a normal physical problem, he said medical attention, the IVF can just, take care of it. And he also gave us other examples. For example, people that goes for family deliverance, a problem that is created by demons, ancestors. And then you see people buying salt, buying olive oil, and carrying material things to go and chase away a demon that can locate you in 5 minutes. So these are the things people misunderstand. And it made us to know that for you to handle spiritual things, you have to be spiritual. And what does it take for you to become spiritual? So you becoming aware, of the God essence. So by the time you as a person maintain that spiritual atmosphere by going digital, fasting from anger, from malice, maintaining that purity, coming into that frequency of God that keeps you spiritual, then if that case is a spiritual case, when he handles it spiritual, it goes away. But people begin to sow seed. When you want to get married, you now go and sow seed to get married. Say it is an error. So it doesn't work that way. And it made us to understand, if a case is caused by a spirit, if he handles it spiritually by praying and conducting deliverance, it doesn't go. Then he talked about the attitudinal. Then the attitudinal will make you to, realize that for that thing to happen, there is a cause. And if only you can stay away from that, which is character, anger, worry, anxiety. If you can do away with them, then you can be all right. But at the end of, applying the spiritual approach, attitudinal, and it doesn't work, then it comes organic, which is the matter. Maybe you have prayed for somebody because of as a result of the damage that has been caused to the body. Prayer alone might not handle it. Your character change cannot handle it. Then it now requires physical attention, which is either herbal or medication or fruit or diet. So people should not misunderstand these things. When a situation needs a physical approach, give it a physical approach. When you need a spiritual approach, give it a spiritual approach. So that is all about relating matter to matter and spirit to spirit. And I believe you are blessed. So subscribe to our channels and like, please, comment, and also share to your friends and loved ones and tell them that something beautiful is happening in the truth market. We also have our materials here. We have the laws of truth. This is a very powerful material that has the ability to give you everything you want or you're looking for, the questions in your heart, all the informations, the explanations you needed, they are trapped in here. So many things you get to know. Get this book and extend it to your friends and loved ones. Also the book of excellence. These are the materials you need for you to advance in life, for you to grow, for you to understand this topic we have treated today. We also have our life guide. They run monthly. And these books are powerful episodes, powerful materials that have come to transform the world, to transform you, and to make it the perfect place. Thank you very much, and we have come to the end of today's episode. I am Divine Susie. Hope to see you some other time.